This presentation is for EDOL 647, Summer 1, about project-based learning to increase student achievement. To introduce this project, we analyzed our 2013-2014 K-Prep data for science, and we determined that there was a significant number of students who were below proficiency in science content. As a school, we discussed strategies not only to tackle this problem with science content, but also with other content as well. And being a low-income school and a school that students require a little bit extra assistance in a lot of capacities, we decided that we would initiate some project-based learning activities to kind of get students more involved in what we were doing. And my study had to do with a fourth grade science class, and we did two different ways of teaching a unit. We did a project-based implementation as well as a student-led teacher-lecture kind of unit, and we compared those two. Our goal was to increase student achievement in the science unit that we were teaching. So we did some research about project-based learning, how to implement it, and how to approach implementing PBL in the classroom. And we actually had PDs and a company come in to give us some background knowledge and information about project-based learning, and to help us facilitate the different dynamics necessary to have effective project-based learning instruction. Most of the articles you read and literature that's out there says that project-based learning is in fact a very good way to get students engaged in what they're learning about, and also put them kind of behind the driver's seat of the lessons and the units. So we felt that this was a perfect way to not only increase student productivity in the classroom, but also give students real-world applications that they could apply what they were learning to, and let them create and let them imagine and let them be in charge of their own learning. So my first research question was, does project-based learning have a positive effect on student achievement? The justification for this research was that our K-Prep data, as I mentioned before, 42% of fourth grade students were not proficient in science. Our students, particularly at our school, they struggle to retain knowledge and to apply concepts to assessment and in real-world applications. Our school has been trained on project-based learning, as I said, but we wanted to determine really how effective project-based learning could be as compared to traditional learning methods. Our sample was two fourth grade homeroom classes. As a STEM lab teacher from my school, I teach all grades K through 5 and see all students. So it was a good way to compare two classes of pretty similar groups of students and teaching them using project-based learning methods, and comparing that to another class that was being taught using more traditional methods that you're probably would see more often in a classroom setting. So the first thing we did was we did a unit assessment. We created this unit assessment based on the standards we were teaching for the unit. The unit was based on Earth systems and processes that shape the Earth. And we created this assessment so we would be able to have something to gauge student growth from the beginning to the end of the unit. This was 22 multiple choice questions. We gave this to students as a pre-assessment. They answered the questions. We scored them, every student in each class, and compared that data. So the baseline, the majority of students in the classrooms, in both classrooms, scored below 50% on the pre-assessment. As you can see here, a significant number of students fell below that 50% mark. Both of these classes were pretty similar on average in their baseline scores. After the unit, when we gave our assessment again, Earth Systems Summative Assessment using PBL, so this is the class that we taught using the PBL methodology. 71% of students scored between 90% and 100%. 17% of students scored between 80 and 90%. So that is 89% of students scoring in that 80% or above, and we considered that proficiency. So almost 90% of our students scored in the proficiency range. In the traditional classroom, 54% of students scored between 90 and 100%. 21% of students scored between 80 and 90. So only 76% scored in that proficiency or above range. So as you can see, there's a huge discrepancy in the final summative scores of the PBL class as compared to the traditional instructional class. So as we reflect, we revealed that the program was effective. Implementing PBL in the classroom was incredible. It gave students more engagement in the content. It allowed them to take charge of their learning, and it gave them a goal for what they were learning. So it wasn't just the traditional lecture, assess. It was very hands-on and engaging for the students. We shared the results with our entire staff, and they were blown away, as we were. And this proved to be a very effective learning and teaching strategy that we can implement not only in science but in other content areas.